Alright guys, welcome back to VALORANT News. Massive drama in the VCT yesterday with the VCL French team getting kicked out of their league and disqualified based on massive drama happening off the server. We've got tear gas, we've got brass knuckles, we've got the police getting involved in this altercation to such an extent, especially because the ownership of one of the teams seems to have been involved as well. There's talk about premeditation. What do you guys think in the comments below, because there's big drama elsewhere as well. Very much intrigued to your thoughts in the comments. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always. I would greatly appreciate it. We're going to begin right about here with the Ascension Winner Bundles. They finally arrived into the game. These are the bundles they've come up with. Of course, many were hoping, including myself, that Sinprasa Gaming, Nongchin Red Force, of course, look, it's going to be black, it's going to be red, right? Like, it is what it is, right? But still, they made it through. Obviously, many were hoping, including myself, as I was going to say, that Sinprasa Gaming, who did qualify, maybe they could end up using their color scheme for their classic skin, but in the end, they decided not to do so. Boom Esports, G-Like Gaming's, I think, is actually pretty nice. Apex's is actually really cool. I do like that one a lot. And then 2G is pretty cool as well with the purple. So anyway, these are the 5 that they've come up with. I thought Zellsis was, yeah, he says 2G and Apex are his favorites. I would kind of be inclined to agree. They're just a little more unique than you tend to see from the other ones, and that's understandable. There was also this, though, from M80, and we're like, oh, can we please get our one into the game as well? So they've designed what they would like theirs to look like in due course. Of course, unfortunately for them, they didn't qualify for the VCT, and maybe they will not qualify again. I mean, who knows? They'll certainly be hoping to, and I think that they certainly could, but their team right now, with Victor coming in and Chet coming in, it's not exactly guaranteed they're going to massively turn a corner and win Ascension again, because, I mean, look, if they were to lose again for the 3rd year in a row in the finals, that would be absolutely horrific. So, yeah, Jordan Belfort, i.e. Zellsis, is also talking about the 2G bundle as well in some detail, and of course they're going to get underway again into matches rather shortly. There were some games last night, and I mean, first of all, we've got to talk about this game, because I don't even know what to say other than, like, Paint just going nuclear. I mean, you don't see numbers like this. I'm not going to lie, you could watch Valorant for years and you'll never see a scoreboard like this ever again. It's actually just obscene, and we'll see it in all its glory in a second. Before we get there, this was the end of the game too. SRB versus the Envy guys. Not like Envy as in Envy, former Rankers team owned by Hastra and all this, but Envy, like former Fun Havers roster, I think is what it is. But BCJ, down 12-11, finds himself in a 1 versus 5. Gets the first couple of kills. They've got him trapped in, right? Surely it's not possible to lose this round. The spike is down. He's got 7 bullets in the magazine. Somehow they don't trade it out. And then it's a 1v1. Tim's in a 1v1. BCJ isn't even that weak on the Tejo. And then he, goes back and catches perfect timing. To be honest, pretty much all of these guys played this just horrifically, and he does get good timing on the final kill, but to be fair, he earned it. They did win the series, but they actually lost the fracture. So fair play to Fun Havers, because when you lose a round like that to go to overtime, to actually bounce back and win the overtime was still kind of impressive. And then the Haven happens, right? I mean, this was like the first half of the gods here from Paint. I don't even know what to say. The funny thing is, on his attacking side, he was back to normal. But the Neon on the defense, I mean, look at these numbers. Are you ever going to see anything like this ever again? He had 682 ACS on the defensive side of Haven for basically a 3 rating. 30 and 5 he went. Obviously, the scoreboard earlier was ridiculous because his entire team had 11 kills combined and he had 24 on his own. And then even at the end of the half, his entire team had, 15, 26 kills, and he still had 30. So just absolutely bonkers. I mean, when you've got a performance like that, and it's not like Paint was bad the other maps as well. I mean, he was on the Waylay game 1 and absolutely cooked. So, yeah, just a ridiculous series there from Paint. And obviously the drama about this team was largely because Jake wasn't very happy with the Monty pickup. But it's not like Monty's been spectacular individually, but, look, they won the series, and that, at the end of the day, is all that matters. So, yeah, they advance on. All the games went down last night. So, yeah, it was Trust in Plug got the win against Blue Otters, Winthrop, QOR, and then SRB, they all got the victories last night. The other 2 games happened in EMEA. That was Na'Vi versus Giant X. Na'Vi got the win in the end 2-1 here. The game 3 split was a 13-0 masterclass. I mean, kind of remarkable, some of the matches that were happening yesterday. This was another example because usually you think, wow, split decider, it's going to be great, right? Maybe in overtime. But you don't often see a split decider 30-0, especially after Giant.X won Na'Vi's map pick 39, looking good. They then lost their own Pearl 13-7 and got completely clapped on the final map. Hero goes 22-2 for a +20. I mean, just absolutely bonkers. So after this series, there was talk about it because Cloud of Giant.X says, I've not been in worse situations in my entire life and career. We've done a lot of different things in and outside of the game, put a lot of hours into the game to be in shape, always tried to improve my IGLing skills. Sometimes there's a light, but it's not enough. Want to say sorry to the people, feel bad for the situation. This one hits different, trying to be positive. So yeah, it ain't looking good, I think is the bottom line for Giant.X. And it's not looking good for KOI either. They came up against BBL and they got destroyed. I mean, look, BBL are good, sure, but KOI, with the team they've put together, with the talents they've got, they should not be this bad. 13-6, 13-9, not really that close. So yeah, that's big talking points for KOI as well. Flyer even says a similar thing to what Cloud said. Never been at such a low point in my life. All I've wanted to do since day one of joining KOI was to have success and win, but because of course Flyer moved over there, right? But it's obviously not happening right now. The team's been putting in so much work. We can just hope that we're going to turn it around, basically. So yeah, do feel for these guys. I really do feel for these guys, but that's competition at the end of the day. Let's talk about the drama then, because this was a remarkable one coming out of Challengers France yesterday. Pretty much just as I made yesterday's video live, this was hitting the timeline. So an official communication, and like, I can't really, if I listen to French, it's just too quick, I don't understand it. I can read it reasonably well anyway. So basically what they say is, considering an incident on the 8th of April, like the Challengers matches on the 8th of April, and drama around this DVM team, we have decided to exclude the organisation for the rest of Stage 2 from the Challengers League France. They say that we're going to continue to basically examine the situation and take the appropriate measures if necessary in the future. So it's an absolute mess. Like, how often do you see a team get excluded from a competition? Batty G says, very strong decision by VCL France. I felt like consequences had to be made, but I know that players in Tier 2 are not in a comfortable or easy position this year, so I feel sad for the players. Mixed feelings right now. But of course you're going to wonder, you know, how the hell did this even happen? What's going on here? Why would a team be excluded? And, well, let's get into it. So, French Challengers team DVM released tear gas and committed assault during their offline match against JobLife. Police got involved. The match was therefore postponed because JobLife refused to play. Following an investigation, they've now been disqualified for the split for the organisation's involvement in the incident. This, I think, is the key thing because, okay, let's just keep it simple. You do get ultra fans, as in ultras, super fans of certain teams that take things way too far. Now, if you have fans like that and they decide to commit assault, release tear gas, bring brass knuckles was another rumour to the fight, to fight another team's fans or whatever, then that's a really big deal. But is it necessarily your fault as a team? Not necessarily, right? Like, if their fans decided to do something completely outrageous and the team who had nothing to do with it are getting punished, apart from them being their fans, but it's not necessarily their fault, then that would feel unfair. The reason why this has happened is because there is involvement from the organisation in this incident, and that's what's being talked about last night. So, the DVM Ultras, along with one member of the club, attacked JobLife fans, even using pepper spray. The police had to get involved, and therefore JobLife refused to play. This was a further kind of discussion on the incident as well, that, like, I mean, I've not seen evidence of all of this, but I've heard pepper spray, I've seen tear gas, I've seen brass knuckles, and, you know, the theory is, and we'll see some more evidence in a second, that this was effectively premeditated, right? Like, they had planned this in advance. Some members of the organisation also involved. The org owners did nothing at all to de-escalate the situation when it could have been possible. Worse, they used the event to promote and record their music video, which I put on the thumbnail. It's an org from a French rap label, and then went live to use stupid excuses. So, you know, apparently even their owner has basically said something similar in the past, that we're going to mess up one of their players. So it's clearly an absolute mess, and seeing all this unfold over the last couple of days, Riot Games and, you know, the Challengers France have stepped in to say, yeah, this isn't going to fly, we are going to shut this down. So this is some of the evidence really that's coming through. I mean, look, we have a couple of videos that we can show of the incidents that's been going on. I think this was probably the big one really here. This was presumably from the bus of the fans that were coming in as they were clearly preparing for what was about to unfold. And, there were clearly members of the team involved in some capacity on this as well. There was also this footage as well of everything actually underway there at the venue. So, just sensational content. It's outrageous. I don't really know what to say at this point, right? Like, you wouldn't expect Valorant fans to go to this extreme, but it's clearly more than that for some people. And this then was the music video that they then recorded. So I guess part of this was all part of the plan, right? So they were doing a music video in the background as well. You guys can see what DVM on the flag, so they've got in the background. And, as they record everything. So, just brilliant work, really, for all involved. And I'm not going to lie, you look at this situation. Do I feel any sympathy for, these people getting kicked out of, this organization getting disqualified from the league? Not really, based on the evidence that we have right now. So, yeah, they got disqualified because fans and friends of the org owner beat up the enemy team. Basically what's happened here. So, yeah, that's the decision that's been made. You don't see this every day, but there's always something going on in the Valorant world. Just before we close out, a couple of scrimbucks to mention. Sentinels, they played NRG, and this is interesting. It's wow, great result for NRG based on recent evidence. They were only down 6-8 to Sentinels in a scrim set they played. Sen were also beating Cube at 15-4. It is one of the advantages having an academy team, especially a decent one, that you can scrim them and you can try everything you want in the scrims because there's no risk of scrim leaks, as we talked about yesterday being a problem elsewhere. We also had this though, probably one of the more notable ones. Leviathan, they're not looking great really. Okay, yeah, they beat Fury the other day, but congratulations, I guess, for doing that. They were down 15-3 to Envy, right? The Rankers team, which is, not exactly the result they'll be looking for going into the next matches upcoming, but very much interested to your thoughts on all of this stuff in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, take care, and I'll see you next time.